Hello, I'm Theresa Nation, and like you, I'm wild about Washington. The Department of Fish and Wildlife participated in the Youth Expo this year in Kennewick. It was a good time for thousands of grade school students, their teachers, the parents, and for us.
It's fun, it's educational, it teaches you a lot of things. I learned how to fix a fishing pole, I learned how to shoot a bow, I learned how big fish grow, and I learned you can keep fish that if one of their fins are cut off.
It gives the kids hands-on experience. It gives them something to really go out and experience and play. And then we definitely have writing stuff to go back to the school and to perform after this.
I think it's important to come to these sort of field trips because it shows them, it teaches them about the different animals that are in this region in Washington State and maybe about endangered species that there are in this area.
Besides teaching the kids more about the outdoors, it's also going to be important that they learn about the recycling and everything that goes along with our ecology. So it fits right in with our units that we study at 5th grade.
We're learning about, we came to this field trip, we're learning about fishes and how to kayak and like fishing, a lot of things. Really cool. There's stuff here that you could do a report on. You could use it as science.
I think it's positive because it's about all the outdoors and learning about all the different wildlife, and it just gives you more of a, it makes you want to go out and explore more. That we need to encourage our children to not be so interested in the internet and on computer games and be more interested in going outside and learning more about wildlife and enjoying it because it's beautiful. It's a beautiful thing.
They are basically learning how to cooperate in social settings, being able to socialize and communicate effectively with different types of personalities and people. They're also learning things that they've never had experience with before. A lot of students have never been to outdoors and been able to experience this type of atmosphere and environment. It builds the confidence level extremely. You have kids that really, really shy and don't want to experience new things. Just kind of with their different disabilities and stuff, and this is totally building their confidence, and they're experiencing things that they normally don't get to see any previous before this outdoor expo. So.
Well, our school district is a high poverty district, so some kids never leave their home. They've never gone past Main Street, so for them this is a whole new experience for them that they would never have with their family. So then they can take what they learn in the classroom, come here, touch, feel it, see that it works in the real world, and take it out to as an adult or as a responsible citizen, and properly care for the environment because we all have an impact on it.
Well, our kids relate the best to the science part because in 5th grade, the year before, these girls right here are 6th graders. Last year, they raised salmon in the classroom. So to come here and see fish and learn about their fish even more, and then they get an opportunity to get outside of the valley, and a lot of our kids don't always get out and about. They get to see a lot of activities that they don't have a lot of access to, and learn about creatures that we don't see every day. We were petting the porcupine, and it's a lot of fun.
Well, on our last parent-teacher conference, we had kids listing out goals, what they wanted to be when they grew up, and some of them wanted to be a scientist, and they were very excited today because this is exactly the opportunity that they won't normally get to have.
With summer upon us, the fishing is good and it is available close to where you live. And yes, there is salmon fishing on the coast this summer, thanks to Washington's science-based resource management. Spokane High School shop class turned their knowledge of robotics into a deer decoy. The donation of their projects to our agency will make life a bit tougher on poachers.
Antlers can be replaced. We can switch it between a whitetail buck and a muley. To hold those in, it's just a drill bit that you would buy from Home Depot. That way if they break, they're easily to replace. And it's just a foam body, which is what's under all the hide. If we pull the head off here, you'll see on the bottom there's a shaft and a gear. And here is the opposite end, which is a servo, a battery pack, so that this is completely wireless, the on-off switch, and the receiver for our remote control, which is used to control it. It can work up to 300 feet away. On the feet, they're metal spikes that actually run all the way up into the body, so they aren't going to break off. But they'll just take those and shove them down into the ground, and then they'll have the brush covering the legs, and it'll be able to stand on its own and not tip over. And then it's all on 2 different controls on the remote. The one moves the head side to side. The other one will move the tail. It just flickers back and forth, just to give it that little extra realistic look.
I want to say thanks again to Mr. Harding and his group here at Shadle Park High School for putting together this deer decoy and donating it to the enforcement program here in Spokane. Our old white-tailed deer decoy was falling apart, and we really didn't have a replacement for it. And this brand new decoy that they put together and are donating to us is great. I mean, we really did need it, and we'll use it a lot. This is unusual to have a younger group like this donate a deer to the department. We do have other sportsmen's groups, adult organizations that put on fundraisers and have donated a lot of equipment to us, like the Mule Deer Foundation. But for a high school and kids that are putting in a lot of their own time and working with other members in the community, and having other people just donate to help them put all this together is really great, and we just don't see it that often.
We ask you to use our natural resources carefully, but we have to practice what we preach. Therefore, our sustainability team checked on our offices after hours to calculate how we're doing conserving those resources.
The point is to figure out how much power is drawn in a cubicle at night when nobody's at work and the cubicle is basically asleep. So walking into this, I have a tally sheet where I'm keeping track of what's on in each cubicle, and I have a little scorecard that I'll leave in the cubicle telling the occupant what was on and what was not, just a way to kind of raise their knowledge of what's going on after dark in their cubicle. So I walk in, I tally the cubicle, I look around, and the first thing I notice is that the only thing in the trash is trash, and the only thing in the recycle is recycled. The task lights are off, the computer itself is off, the monitor's off. They must have known I was coming. And then, but if I look down underneath the cubicle, the power strip still has a light glowing now. We really don't expect people to dive under their cubicles every night and turn off the power strip, but that is a draw that happens every night. It looks like a pretty good cubicle, so I will score this one very good.
Well, here we are in another part of the building doing another sustainability team workspace energy audit. What we're going to do is basically take a look around and see what's been left on in the workspace. So here we've got a light that's on. So that's one light. We've got a label maker that's on, and since we have the monitor on and the computer on, we can assume that the surge protector is also on because those are sourced from that power.
We're now in a private office where we're conducting another energy audit, and this is a really great example of what we call the potential of having phantom charges exist in an office. A TV, anything that has a remote control could be a very draining in terms of energy if left on, and so it's easy to unplug your TV at night. This is an example of a surge protector that could be probably easily turned off because these things don't need to be remained on all night long.
I sat down here and did a few calculations, And if I were to turn off everything that I usually turn off in this cubicle, this cube would be spending 85 cents a year in dollars to run when it's dark, and would be generating 4.7 pounds of CO2. On the other hand, if I just left on everything that you see running right now, the computer, the monitor, the task lights, and this is not a high gizmo cubicle, in the course of the year it would cost $51.81 to run it for the course of the night, and it would be generating 287 pounds of CO2.
We hit about 500 office spaces and calculated out that if all the energy wasted in those 500 office spaces over the whole year, on evenings and weekends, we wasted almost $5,000 worth of electricity, which also equals about 23,000 pounds of carbon dioxide. $5,000 doesn't seem like a whole lot in the context of the entire agency, but it's money that could have been used for other more mission-critical activities such as habitat restoration or protecting endangered species, things like that.
Washington has some of the finest state parks anywhere in the country. Here's a tour of just 3 of them and what you can expect when you get there. This has been Wild About Washington, brought to you by the employees of the Washington Department of Fish and Wildlife. Working together, we can keep Washington's outdoor heritage for future generations. Thank you for watching.